Every year, 48 million Americans get food poisoning. That's 1 in 6 people. And the cost of all that illness adds up to $74.7 billion annually. This is the ultimate guide to food safety in your home kitchen, covering everything from how bacteria actually grow on your food to the exact temperatures that keep you safe, and several mistakes that almost everyone is making right now without realizing it. Let's start with the invisible enemy, bacteria. Specifically, let's talk about the danger zone. The danger zone is the temperature range between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 140 degrees Fahrenheit, where bacteria multiply the fastest. And when I say fast, I mean a single bacterium can double every 20 minutes. Leave a piece of chicken on your counter for a couple of hours, and that one bacterium has become over 1 million. The scary part is that pathogenic bacteria, the kind that make you sick, do not change the way food looks, smells, or tastes. Your leftovers can look perfectly fine and still be loaded with harmful organisms. That's why you should never leave perishable food out for more than 2 hours. And if it's a hot day, above 90 degrees Fahrenheit, that window shrinks to just 1 hour. Now here's a fact that surprises a lot of people. One of the most common causes of foodborne illness isn't undercooking, it's improper cooling. When you cook a big pot of soup or a tray of rice, you can't just throw it straight into the fridge and call it a day. Hot food needs to cool in 2 stages. First, it should drop from 135 degrees Fahrenheit down to 70 degrees Fahrenheit within 2 hours. Then, from 70 degrees Fahrenheit down to 41 degrees Fahrenheit within the next 4 hours. That first stage matters most because the range between 135 degrees Fahrenheit and 70 degrees Fahrenheit is where bacteria ramp up the fastest. Break large batches into smaller containers, spread food out on shallow trays, or use an ice bath to speed things up. And speaking of rice, cooked rice is one of the sneakiest danger zone failures out there. Bacillus cereus spores survive cooking, and if rice sits at room temperature too long, those spores germinate and produce toxins that reheating cannot destroy. Cool your rice within 1 hour, refrigerate it, and use it within 24 hours. Now let's talk about your refrigerator, because most people are organizing theirs wrong. Your fridge should be set to 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below. If you don't have a refrigerator thermometer, get one. Even a few degrees too warm and bacteria grow noticeably faster. But temperature is only half the equation. Where you place food on each shelf matters just as much. Here's the rule. Foods that need the highest cooking temperatures go on the bottom shelf. Foods that need lower cooking temperatures or no cooking at all go on the top. So your top shelves hold ready-to-eat foods, dairy, drinks, and anything you'd put straight in your mouth. Middle shelves are for cooked leftovers, prepared foods, and packaged goods. The bottom shelf is reserved exclusively for raw meat, poultry, and seafood. This prevents raw juices from dripping down onto foods you plan to eat without cooking. And those door compartments, they're actually the warmest part of your fridge because they're exposed to room temperature every time you open the door. Use them only for condiments, dressings, and other items with a long shelf life. Never store milk or eggs in the door. One more fridge tip. During a power outage, keep the doors closed. After 4 hours without power, throw away all perishable foods. And remember, freezing does not kill bacteria. It just puts them into a dormant state. The moment food thaws, those bacteria wake right back up. Now let's get into cooking temperatures, because this is where a food thermometer becomes your best friend. Only 6% of home cooks use a food thermometer when making hamburgers. 6%. And research shows that 1 in 4 hamburgers that looks fully cooked hasn't actually reached a safe internal temperature. The color of meat and the color of its juices are not reliable indicators of doneness. Period. Here are the numbers you need to know. All poultry, whether whole, in pieces, or ground, needs to reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Ground beef, pork, lamb, and veal, need to hit 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Whole cuts of beef, pork, lamb, and veal, steaks, chops, and roasts need 145 degrees Fahrenheit plus a 3-minute rest before you cut into them. Fish also needs 145 degrees Fahrenheit, and any time you reheat leftovers, bring them all the way up to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Next, cross-contamination. A USDA study found that only 32% of people properly clean and sanitize the surface after preparing raw meat. That means nearly 7 out of 10 people are potentially spreading bacteria across their entire kitchen. Use 2 cutting boards, one for raw animal proteins and one for everything else. After handling raw meat, wash your board, knife, and countertops with hot soapy water before touching anything else. And here's something you probably haven't thought about. In a study of 200 home cooks, 12% contaminated their spice containers while handling raw meat without even realizing it. You reach for the salt with raw chicken juice on your fingers, and now every time you use that salt shaker, you're reintroducing bacteria. Your phone is another culprit. Of people who use their phone while cooking, only about a third wash their hands afterward. Salmonella and E. coli can survive on a phone screen for more than 24 hours. Which brings us to hand washing. Wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap and running water. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, dry. It's the friction of scrubbing, not the antibacterial properties of special soaps, that removes pathogens. Research shows this process removes up to 92% of harmful bacteria. Wash before and after handling food, after touching raw meat, after using the bathroom, after touching your phone, after sneezing, and after handling pets. And wearing gloves is not a substitute. A glove that's touched raw beef carries the same contamination as a bare hand. Now, who's most at risk from all of this? The groups most vulnerable to severe foodborne illness are remembered by the acronym YOPI, young children under 5, whose immune systems are still developing, older adults over 65, whose immune defenses have weakened, pregnant women who face unique hormonal and immune changes, and immunocompromised individuals dealing with conditions like cancer, diabetes, or undergoing treatments like chemotherapy. If you're cooking for anyone in these groups, every step we've covered today becomes even more critical. And this isn't theoretical. In 2025, eggs were the biggest culprit in foodborne outbreaks, causing 3 of the top 10 and sickening over 300 people. A listeria outbreak in prepared pasta meals sold at Walmart, Kroger, and Trader Joe's infected people across 19 states. Another listeria outbreak linked to frozen nutritional shakes hospitalized 41 people and killed 14. Right now, as of mid-2026, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is actively monitoring 27 multi-state outbreak investigations. This is happening constantly. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Get a food thermometer and actually use it. Get a refrigerator thermometer and make sure your fridge is at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Reorganize your fridge with raw meat on the bottom shelf. Use 2 cutting boards. Set a 2-hour timer anytime perishable food is sitting out. And wash your hands for 20 seconds every single time. These aren't complicated steps, but the gap between knowing them and doing them is where 48 million cases of food poisoning live every single year. Close that gap in your kitchen and you've just eliminated the most common source of risk for you and everyone you cook for.